Now at noon, a Little Rock police officer arrested in Saline County. What charges they're facing. Plus, new efforts to reduce gas prices, how much relief you could see in the coming weeks. More jobs and more job openings. While the good news in today's new unemployment report is met with some concern. All of those stories and much more coming up here in just a few moments. But first, we want to get straight to meteorologist Scott Covert with the first look at your weekend forecast. Scott, it's looking beautiful out on the RV11 cam today.
It really is looking nice out there. Hard to find even a cloud in the sky. Now, temperatures this morning were frigid cold. We saw sub-freezing temperatures across a good majority of northern Arkansas. A frost across most of the state. I hope you protected those plants. Here's where we're at right now. 52 in Little Rock. It's still in the 40s in Russellville and in Batesville. I think we're going to warm up briefly into the low 60s this afternoon. 62 looks to be our high temperature today. And while it is sunny out there now, as we go about the evening hours, more clouds are going to move into the area. Those clouds all in advance of our next weather system that brings some rain to the forecast. Elsewhere, highs today in Russellville 63, 64 in Monticello, warming to 59 in Searcy and Batesville. Here's a preview of that weekend forecast. There will be rain tomorrow morning, but the good news is it's not going to hang around for too long. In fact, I think by noon tomorrow will probably be dry, probably be under a sunny sky with temperatures climbing to 68, upwards of 73 on Sunday. Rain back in your forecast next week. We'll break it down coming up.
Developing news here at noon, a Little Rock Police Department detective is facing several criminal charges. LRPD confirms that the Saline County Sheriff's Office arrested the officer yesterday and charged them with domestic battery and endangering the welfare of a minor. The police department says they cannot release the employee's name because they work undercover. The department has started an internal investigation into the employee. Yesterday, we told you about a different Little Rock police officer placed on leave for firing their weapon on duty. That happened Wednesday, also in Saline County. Police tell us the two incidents are not related. Sad news out of Camden today. Police say they've recovered the body of a teen who drowned in the Washita River. That teenager reportedly disappeared after going swimming with friends near the Riverwalk back on Sunday. Camden police say they found the body at about 8:30 this morning with the help of volunteers. New at noon, state police have identified the woman shot and killed by law enforcement officers on West Main Street in Atkins. They say 35-year-old Samantha Edgmond was shot by 2 Atkins police officers and 2 Pope County Sheriff's deputies. According to initial reports, the officers responded to a reported break-in and found Edgmond. The officers say Edgmond approached them with a metal pipe in hand. All 4 officers reportedly shot her after she ignored multiple commands to drop the pipe. The officers have not been identified. State police are investigating. Pine Bluff High School students walked out of class yesterday. They say their voices aren't being heard and that they won't stop until things change. THV11's Ashley Godwin spoke with some of those students demanding answers from the district.
It was right here earlier today that Pine Bluff High School students sat outside of the classroom protesting the death of several classmates and other frustrations with the administration.
No more silence! No more silence!
We have had 6 deaths and they haven't said anything. It's long overdue. It's time for change.
Dozens of students crying out for lives lost too soon to gun violence. One who died as recently as this week. Signs saying, "Keep us safe," and it could have been your child. Students also wishing they heard more from the school following the death of classmates.
It's really about everybody that passed away, and they didn't have a proper memorial, and they didn't say anything about it. We learned about it from social media.
Claire is a student at the high school. She says she doesn't feel safe, especially when there's a lack of extracurricular activities.
We feel like there's nothing for kids, like after school. We don't have community centers open or nothing, so that's why most of the kids choose gang violence and stuff.
It's too much free time that gives people time to do things they shouldn't be doing.
In a statement sent to THV11 from Pine Bluff superintendent saying in part, "I shared with scholars that their voices matter and what they have to say is important, but what we say and how we say it, it has to be done in an appropriate and orderly manner." The students' response, they will continue if they aren't heard.
We're not stopping here.
In Pine Bluff, Ashley Godwin, THV11 News.
The superintendent plans to hold a Q&A with students at the high school next week. The principal there tells us counseling services are also available to any students who need them. Now to a THV11 update. Students at Warren High School remain virtual today after a fire on campus. All other Warren schools are back in person. Warren's fire chief tells THV11 the fire Wednesday night was contained to the gym, but there's heavy smoke damage throughout the entire building. The former mayor says the town is resilient.
We'll get something put back or repaired however we need to do it, and we'll still be here.
Fire chief could not pinpoint the exact cause of the fire yet, but it is under investigation. School district officials say they're working on a plan to resume on-site learning. An update on a North Little Rock shooting we first told you about yesterday at noon. Police say the man shot at Landsbrook and Bethany yesterday morning has died. Officers found him lying in the road after a 911 call at about 4:30 a.m. Detectives ask anyone with information on this case to give them a call. You can remain anonymous. Now to the latest on the war in Ukraine. A U.S. official tells CBS News it was Ukraine who attacked an oil depot inside Russian territory. Ukraine has not confirmed or denied the incident. Russia says it could impact peace talks. Deborah Alfarone has the very latest from Washington.
Firefighters are battling a blaze at a fuel depot inside Russian territory. Russia claims 2 Ukrainian helicopters attacked it overnight, and a Kremlin official is warning it could impact virtual peace negotiations underway today. This comes as Russian forces continue to pound Ukrainian cities, killing civilians. Despite Russian claims of reducing military activity, Ukrainian officials say in Mariupol, Russia is blocking food and medical supplies from getting in and preventing refugees from getting out.
We are running out of adjectives to describe the horrors that residents in Mariupol have suffered. The situation is horrendous and deteriorating. It's now a humanitarian imperative that people be allowed to leave and aid supplies be allowed in.
Following reports that Vladimir Putin's advisors may have misled him about Russia's war progress, President Biden says it appears he may be self-isolating.
And there's some indication that he has fired or put under house arrest some of his advisors. But I don't want to put too much stock in that at this time because we don't have that much hard evidence.
Russian forces have left the Chernobyl nuclear site, and the representatives from the UN Nuclear Watchdog Organization are headed there now. They say the general radiation level around the decommissioned power plant is normal. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin told European countries buying Russian gas that they must pay in rubles starting today or their supply will be cut off. European countries cautiously insisted they will continue to pay for the gas with euros and dollars. And speaking of gas, the average price for a gallon is up 50% from a year ago. Inflation is the highest it's been in 40 years, and energy costs are a big reason. Now the White House is making historic moves, hoping to drive down the price of gas. President Biden plans to sell off 1/3 of America's oil reserve. One oil analyst says while drivers will see a modest dip in prices, they won't be plunging anytime soon. Some relief is expected in April and May, but prices are expected to increase again by Memorial Day. President Biden is placing the blame squarely on Russia's war in Ukraine.
My plan is going to help ease that pain today and safeguard against tomorrow. I'm open to ideas to strengthen the plan, but I will not be put off and put it on hold.
Biden went on to say this plan not only helps Americans and its allies, it hurts Russia. Less revenue going into the country means less money they have to spend on the war in Ukraine. The president says the U.S. will refill its strategic reserve when oil prices come back down. While you're doing a little spring cleaning, it might be a good time to check the expiration dates on your canned goods. Our Verify team answers how long is too long to keep those cans around. Scott.
Really beautiful day shaping up all across the state here this afternoon. It's a bit on the cool side though. I am tracking a weekend warm up. Details coming right up.